Okay, hello, my fellow risers. Um, so, I've made something. I want to give you an update. I guess I want to give you an update in general, don't I? Been back in the US now since April, but haven't really gotten into the productivity, creativity groove that I wanted to. I'm trying to, I guess, figure out the right environment, the right schedule, and so on. Driving Uber, um, I mean, really, less than 10 days a month, and that's enough. And then the rest of the time, um, gosh, there's so many things to do. I want to write fiction. There's two papers that I want to write, maybe finish by the spring. One is what I'm calling the brain paper, which is what the evidence is that, you know, we are brains, and why it's important to believe that. And then the other paper is called the soul paper, which is going to be a timeline, look at the history of man's concepts of self. That's everything that's consciousness, soul, and self. I guess those in mind. Those things. It's about the ego myth, about how, I mean, none of those things are really real in a sense, or all of those things, all of those terms, consciousness, soul, mind, we came up with unempirically, right? It was like we came up with experientially, right? Which is interesting because obviously in some ways those two words are synonyms. In this case, they are not. We did not observe something about reality. It's just our subjective experience. We're like, we need a word for this. Don't know what it is, though. Don't know what it corresponds to in reality. And so we've been trying to figure that out. We thought, oh, maybe the heart is the soul. Oh, maybe the soul is immaterial. Oh, maybe the soul is the gut. Whatever. We've come up with different things. And one of the most modern things is if you take System 1 and System 2, you might be tempted to say, oh, System 2 is the soul, the consciousness, the self, the real essence of the person, that rational thing. So the paper is about, so it does the timeline, introduces the ego myth, right? Oh, ego is another word. So this thing that we named, but we didn't know what it corresponded to in reality. As it turns out, it probably doesn't really correspond to anything, at least in the way that we were hoping, of kind of a one-to-one relationship. There are aspects of the ego that correspond to this part of the brain or to this biological fact, what have you. So then 3, the final piece about how we're kind of fucking up this System 1, System 2 framework by letting our ego illusions, the ego myth, be an apparition in it, I guess. Whatever. You understand what I'm trying to say. That's not actually even what this video is about. I just wanted to give you a little update. So, sorry, not sorry. Write fiction, I want to do that as well, to, play with some of these ideas artistically. Went to the neuroscience conference in San Diego, did some great interviews there, and also had a call with a professor at UIC, a philosophy professor, who wrote this book on the self, and she is eager to talk again. I'm very excited to talk again, and I'm hoping to have that academic relationship It felt strange. I don't talk to a lot of academics. I talked to some at the neuroscience conference, but the questions that I was asking, well, I didn't really feel like I was talking to academics sometimes. And it's not even that I was asking questions about, hey, you, neuroscientist, you who studies the brain, are you a brain? And like half the people are like, oh, I don't know, I don't think so. So let's look at that now. Okay. Cognitive errors, heuristics, biases, and so on. And people don't know about it. They don't think it applies to them because they think that they are maybe immaterial souls that are just sometimes misguided by this fallible brain. But I have news. You guys are fallible. You guys are biological. How does that feel? To think of yourselves as biological?
It feels like I kind of knew.
No, sorry. I mean to think of your essence as biological. To think part of it is?
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. So who does know what organ is answering these questions? Oh, the brain?
And also our vocal.
And what's commanding
our brain.
Through the glossopharyngeal cranial nerve?
Yes.
Is it the brain?
Yes.
Okay, so the brain's answering this question and speaking on your behalf. Is that how we would see it? No?
I was gonna say.
Okay, so it's speaking, it's using the word I, but it isn't you. So that's why I was wondering if maybe it was speaking on your behalf.
Well, I am I. Doesn't the brain identify itself as I?
Yeah.
I identify myself as I?
So how do we know who's talking, whether it's the self or the brain? Because we've only mapped verbal processes in the brain. Okay, very good. That's all I wanted. Any additional comments? Okay, thank you so much for stopping for this. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, maybe you want to write down where you can see the video, where the channel is. Okay, excellent. Okay, so that's lots of fun. So then here is what I came up with, a little comic for that. But let me do this. Okay, so now for Beth's brain. So, great. So I walk up to her, yo, are you a brain? I don't think so. What produced that sentence? I don't know. So what are you? And then, so it would be animated, would be ideal. And so what you've got here is we peel back her skull and we see the brain, and specifically right around Broca's area, we see the dendritic end of a neuron that then projects to the cranial nerves through the glossopharyngeal cranial nerve. That's what this neuron's supposed to represent. Glosso, tongue, pharyngeal, pharynx, and it's a sensory and a motor. Pretty sure it's sensory as well. Anyway, but it's definitely at least a motor cranial nerve, and so it's making the pharynx, constrict and whatever the pharynx does. Okay. And so it's funny when you actually, because of course this is why the ego myth has persisted. We have had, for most of our recent existence, an internal sort of perception of this mind, ego, soul thing. And we've had very, very limited exposure to that brain thing. To seeing it. We are it, but we don't see ourselves really. So that's fun. You have this brain going, I am me. It's even more fun if we peel back here, you have the brain going, I don't know. Sarah, can we do that after? Are you a brain? A brain going, I don't think so. So, what are you? I am me. The brain definitely can speak. Is it speaking on your behalf? I think the brain uses I to refer to itself. And that's, of course, a brain talking. So then I go, so the brain thinks and speaks and uses I to refer to itself. And she says, but I think I'd say I'm not a brain. Okay, thanks. I think I need a shot after this. Oh, I should be like, me too. What a great juxtaposition of your distal versus testable beliefs about the self. Google it. Basically, should I just read it? No, I don't even have it with me. Basically, intangible things that also have some tangibility to them, we can have kind of two beliefs about them. When we think about them in their tangible sense, we have certain beliefs, testable beliefs, and then when we think about the thing in its intangible sense, we have distal beliefs. Okay, let me give you an example because that is probably meaningless to you. So, God, right? When it comes to the tangible sense of God, as in he's very real, he's watching me right now, I can ask him for things. If I don't follow his rules, he might smite me, whatever. Very few people maintain those beliefs. They go to the doctor. They don't just ask God to do it, or yeah, I know you, because you could be like, oh, but God doesn't help people who don't help themselves. Okay, so that's not, maybe you could refute my example with that, but be charitable, and I bet you can just think of another example. And if you really struggle, leave a comment and we can explore this again. Yeah, people don't sort of really follow the general rules, don't even really give it much thought sometimes. But then when the belief, or when God has no immediate consequence, when he's far from tangible, we're like able to maintain that belief and kind of talk about it as valid. Well, same thing here with the belief. In a sense, you, a brain, you do believe that you're a brain. I think evidence of that is the fact that you drink alcohol. It's not a great example because it's not like we started drinking alcohol when we knew that it would, or how it affects the brain, and that it affects the brain. Okay, how about this? A lobotomy. You would not at all consider getting a lobotomy because that would fuck with your essence, and you know that. And then, yeah, other examples. Yeah, there's something about drugs and alcohol and how we know that they affect the brain. We know that that's where we get the effect from their effect on the brain. And yeah, I think you can say, anyway, that's enough of that. Yeah, okay. I think it makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't, or give me an opportunity to explore it some more. Okay, so then she goes to the bar, and what's going on? Okay, 6 out of 19, 8 out of 19. She goes to the bar. Surely I'm not a brain, the brain wonders. And you see the brain also controlling these muscles to hold her, to hold the face that it controls, and to pick up the drink. Okay. You have a little image of a friar, the black swan. As you know, well, I don't know about other places, but English pubs are famously named something that can be represented with a pictograph, right? So it'll be like some kind of an animal and then some adjective that can be depicted. So, for instance, the black swan. The black swan, I Googled pubs in Ockham, England, and the Black Swan is a pub in Ockham, England. And then you have a little cross here to do the religious aspect. Anyway, so Beth is like, oh, this face is not for what she's saying. She goes, oh, maybe I'm something that controls my brain. And there's this guy over here who might kind of look to you like the guy in the photo. So I don't know, maybe a former friar. I don't know. But there's this guy, and he comes over, he's poured her a beer, and he uses some sharp object to cut off the fluff, the head of the beer, the ghost of the beer, the ghost of the machine. So she says, maybe I'm something that controls my brain. She refuses to believe that she's a brain. So she's like, maybe I'm this other thing that there's no indication of that controls the brain, which then produces speech and, controls all my movements. But maybe I'm the puppeteer to the biological puppeteer. You get it? I mean, I said it. I mentioned Ockham. So this is Willie. And he comes over. And she goes, oh, no. This face is kind of related to what she says, or what she's thinking there. And it dawns on her, what? And Ockham gives her a little wink. And we've got this guy. Okay? Who's this guy? By the way, these are some depictions of William of Ockham. And here's Paul Broca. There's Broca's area. See this image? There's Broca's area. Okay. So he comes in, real smooth talker. He says, I'm Paul, enchanté, he's a French doctor. She goes, speechless, right? So how did Broca identify this area as being necessary for speech production? Well, tan. There, we'll say that's tan. And this is, we'll say, Tan's brain. Oh, maybe it actually is. Great. And there's a whole piece missing. And guess what Tan couldn't do? He couldn't speak. He was aphasic. So she's speechless because maybe she's lost in thought. Maybe she's charmed. I don't know. Interpret as you will. He says, don't worry, dear. I've seen this before. Okay. So then, anyway, she's back in bed. What have I done? Probably about this. What am I? But it's not the S word. She's realizing, oh my gosh. I was thinking the 4-letter S word, S, and there's a U in it. But I'm still thinking that word because she's thinking, what am I? Like me as soul. What am I? And she starts to sing to herself because it's a musical comic. So here's what she starts to sing to herself.
the science-backed shot for peak mental performance, powered by clinically backed neuroscientist-developed ingredients. Nano-encapsulation
You are
delivers ingredients
shitting me.
in minutes, not hours.
You are
Matcha,
absolutely
cordyceps,
fucking
rhodiola.
shitting me, bro. God damn. God damn it, bro. I'm not recording my screen. God damn it, bro. God damn it. Anyway, so I guess what I did is I just did stills, screenshots. So that's one thing. And then next is gonna play the song. And
recently I've been a little empty, see. I just bought me a butter bag of weed, and I haven't seen you in like 2-3 weeks. Said I'm too caught up in that money tree. Black hair long now, down to my ass now. Get a little bigger if I try.